4 News at noon starts now.
New testimony in the Jennifer Crumbley trial, the mother of the Oxford High School shooter. How one Oakland County investigator says she reacted after finding out her son killed 4 people. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Jason Colthorpe.
And I'm Rhonda Walker. We do want to get to today's testimony in the involuntary manslaughter trial of Jennifer Crumbley. Prosecutors say her neglect of her own son led to the death of the 4 Oxford High School students: Madison Baldwin, Tate Meir, Justin Schilling, and Hannah St. Juliana.
Crumbley's son was sentenced to life in prison for the shootings, but it's Jennifer Crumbley's behavior after the shooting that is under the microscope again today. Let's get to Sean Lay, who's been inside the courtroom for us. Sean?
Jason, Rhonda, here's the very latest happening inside the courtroom. The prosecution continues to build its case, just as you mentioned, that allegedly Jennifer Crumbley neglected her son, leading to this Oxford school shooting. But it was after the shooting that the prosecution continues to show examples where their opinion is Crumbley didn't care, allegedly, about her son or the victims. Take a look.
Items that were taken out of the home. And
Oakland County Sheriff's investigator Sam Marsban had the job of walking through Oxford High School moments after the shooting to locate the bodies of students on the floor that had been shot and killed. Marsban had to identify who they were. One student had been shot in her head. She was still wearing her backpack. Marsban then went to the home of James and Jennifer Crumbley, who knew the shooter was their 15-year-old son. But this detective had to explain why investigators were at their home and how students were murdered in their own school. He had to explain to Jennifer Crumbley that this was a massive tragedy.
Told her that there were several dead kids and kids that were shot in the school, and this was significant incidents and was already on the national news, and even the president had addressed it.
But as we have seen throughout this trial, the investigator says Jennifer Crumbley did not seem to care that her son had taken the lives of 4 innocent kids.
Jennifer Crumbley crying?
No.
Was Jennifer Crumbley, what were her mannerisms or gestures at that point?
She seemed irritated and frustrated. I remember taking notes down, and she made a statement to me saying that lives were lost today and he's going to have to suffer.
Back here live, that detective said the word suffer coming from the mother addressing her son, referring to her son. He found that to be very strange, and there's more here. He's sitting inside the Crumbley home. This is testimony, guys, we'll show at 4 and 5 o'clock today. And they needed the Crumbleys to turn over their cell phones. They had a search warrant. They needed information from those phones. And Jennifer Crumbley did not want to give up her phone and put up a bit of a fight for that, eventually giving it up. James Crumbley said, you might as well hand it over. They're going to get it anyway. Body camera video from the moment Jennifer Crumbley and James were apprehended after a manhunt, just shown in court. We'll also show that to you at 4 and 5 tonight, guys.
Sean, have you gotten any indication yet when the prosecution might wrap up its case?
Just now, coming on the air, we heard the prosecutors say they told the judge that they could wrap up and rest today. And if that's the case, the judge is going to give the defense here time to prepare for tomorrow, and the defense would start tomorrow morning. But again, there may be some more testimony today we'll keep an eye on, but prosecutors said they are likely going to rest today.
All right, we'll be watching, that's for sure. Sean, we appreciate it.
And you can watch along as well each and every day of this testimony. We carry it live for you on our streaming channel, Local 4 Plus, and on clickondetroit.com.
You might have noticed flags flying at half-staff today. That's because Michigan is honoring a fallen state trooper.
This trooper is Joel Popp. He was hit by a driver last week along I-75 in the northbound direction near Birch Run. His funeral got underway at 11 a.m. this morning at Saginaw Valley State University's Ryder Center. The driver who hit Popp was initially hospitalized, is now out of the hospital. The accident is still under investigation.
Chesterfield police have now charged a man in a deadly hit-and-run accident. This was in the area of Gratiot and 25 Mile last Friday. Someone said they spotted a man running away from a Ford F-150 after the crash, leaving a 39-year-old woman dead in her car. Matthew Reynolds was arraigned yesterday afternoon on multiple charges, considered the at-fault driver in the crash, according to police. He's expected back in court February 7th.
President Biden will be here in Metro Detroit tomorrow. The White House says that he is participating in an event hosted by the UAW.
Now, there is a possibility for protests from Arab Americans in the Metro Detroit area who don't agree with the president's support of Israel's war in Gaza. Now, this visit comes after the UAW already endorsed President Biden for re-election last week. It'll be President Biden's first time visiting Michigan since September amid the strike against Detroit's 3 automakers.
The United States is ready to retaliate against Iran after the drone attack that killed 3 U.S. service members and hurt dozens more.
NBC's Bree Jackson telling us lawmakers on both sides of the aisle on Capitol Hill are weighing in here.
Lawmakers are demanding that President Biden ask Congress to vote on a new authorization for the use of military force before he takes further action. While questions remain about how a drone got onto a U.S. military base in Jordan, killing 3 American soldiers, President Biden has made a decision on how to respond, although he did not give any details. The president also says he holds Iran responsible for the militia's attack.
I do hold them responsible in the sense that they're supplying the weapons to the people who did it.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. response could be multi-leveled and sustained over time. On Capitol Hill, there's a bipartisan push urging action to combat Iran's illicit oil trade.
The United States needs to show strength, and the administration needs to escalate and sustain the response.
But also understand that this is a trap that China and Russia are also setting. They would love for us to get involved in a war in the Middle East, which would take our eye off of Ukraine, which would allow China to move against Taiwan.
Administration officials say the U.S. is not looking for a wider war with Iran, but they have to walk a tightrope of retaliating without that happening.
They just can't be my baby.
Meanwhile, the families of those soldiers killed are remembering their loved ones.
I know she's gone, but she is my hero, and she will always be my hero.
A ceremony honoring the 3 fallen soldiers will take place Friday when they return to American soil. And President Biden spoke to the families of the service members killed in Jordan and will attend the dignified transfer of their bodies in Dover, Delaware on Friday. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Okay, Bree. A big change coming to a popular social media platform. Today is the last day you can actually use any songs owned by Universal on TikTok.
Yes, Universal Music Group is the world's largest music company. It says it's pulling songs because TikTok isn't willing to pay artists what it considers a just rate, plus not providing protections against AI. In response, TikTok accuses the company of greedily acting against the best interests of its artists.
Well, it's been a minute since we had to wait this long to get to the forecast.
Which means things are calm, Ashley.
I'm sorry, you have to wake me up over here. But yeah, finally a calmer forecast. And we do have some really nice conditions going into the weekend, which will include some sunshine that we are long overdue for. We sit right around 35 degrees across all of Metro Detroit, so pretty steady temperatures out there with a light southerly breeze and cloud cover over the Metro airport. And so we're not going to see a lot of that sunshine today. We will get to it by the time we head to Friday, but before that, we could see some patchy drizzle. So you can see that cloud cover being pumped in from the north. That's going to come with a cold front. Otherwise, fairly calm conditions across a good portion of the U.S. except for the west coast. So our 2-day snowfall total, I put this on just to show you the areas that picked up the most snow yesterday, and that was just west of Port Huron, but pretty much all the way down past Ann Arbor. So a good chunk of Metro Detroit that picked up upward of 4 inches of snow. Now, a lot of that's going to be melting away as we get close to 40 this afternoon under cloudy skies, and this isn't even the most mild day of the work week. Will be even warmer as we head into tomorrow. So mid-40s tomorrow, little dip on Groundhog Day, but then we're still back above average heading into the weekend. But I promise you, you will be seeing some sunshine before the work week is done and heading into the weekend. It's been a long time since you had to wear those sunglasses, so you might have to find them and dust them off, but make sure you have them ready. We'll talk about when it arrives coming up.